The Girl of the Seventh Church. For many years, there have been stories of the people who at some point have encountered ghosts in the night. There are frequent stories of the taxi drivers who have lived really inexplicable experience. A very famous case in the city is the parents of the young woman who boarded a taxi, as her only wish was to visit seven churches, to be able to rest in the peace. Being on the night layout, but especially this was singularly colder night, darker. Around the morning and the taxi driver was returned home after a whole day of hard work. There were not long hunger and any nor so would the people. But when he passed in front of the general cemetery of the city, he noticed that girl was making him stop. He kept thinking that he was already very tired and that it was too late. To make another drop, it became very strange that this girl was alone at that time. However, I reflect on the thinking for her 17-year-old night who was raped and murdered 3 years ago. She said, "Poor girl, I can't leave her there exposed to I don't know how miserable." He backed up his taxi and came to her. She was approximately between 18 and 19 years old. When contemplating her face, the taxi driver felt an intense cool and certain stare, which didn't give importance to because the girl had an angel face, very pretty, with the white skin, very white, extremely long hair. She was thin, Victoria's fine, big blue eyes, but infinite size. She had a white lace dress and around her neck. A beautiful gold looking that looked vintage. The disaster taxi driver asked him where he was taking her, and this girl replied to take her to visit seven churches in the city. Whatever he wanted, his voice was soft, very sad, but she let notice a very strange temper. That I leave you with a feeling of fear and mystery. And in order to make the story so long, the taxi driver took her to each to seven sources with two planes and each in all seven about 3 minutes and how would live with an expression of serenity, of tranquility, but while abandoning that look of infinity in her eyes sadness. At the end of the walk, she asked him a favor. "Excuse me, if I have visited your business too much, my name is Alicia. I do not have money to pay you now. However, I will leave you this locket and call you do me a last favor. Go to the Jasmine Colony my father lived. Give him my locket and ask him to pay for the service. And tell him I love him and not to forget about me. Let me where you pick it up, please." The taxi driver felt like in the trance where he accepted the request of the girl and left there in the front of the cemetery. The man went home. He felt decent. His head hurt instantly. His body burned from the fever that he was beginning to heap. His wife treated him from this sudden illness, which lasted almost 3 days. When she finally reacted on the fever better, she remembered her last night in the taxi, remembered the angel girl from the churches, and remembered his last request that made her feel chill, that made her so weak, from food to food. How Tom he didn't understand anything. He thought how strange everything was. Suddenly he left home on the problems. But why in the cemetery? Who was it? The locket, yes, there it was, on the her bedside table. Alicia looked at that now her everything changed. He stopped like a spring, took his taxi and went to the address that Gary gave him, but with the intention of charming, but the reason to discover, to know, to clarify the truth behind the mystery that disturbed him, that shook him, and I didn't even want to think. He thought it was a large colonial-style house, all the 10 tall, foreign-looking early men opening in with eyes. If Alicia's eyes, so sad. The taxi driver said, "Excuse me, sir. I am here on behalf of your daughter Alicia. She requests my service, and she asked me to take her to visit 7 churches. I did so, and she left me her locket at the place for you to pay me." The man to see the jewel burst into the countable tears. He made the taxi driver pass the shower in a printing. That of Alicia identical to the one from 2 nights ago. "Is she my daughter, Alicia?" The man said, "Yes, she wears that same dress." "I can't be. 3 nights ago she was 7 years dead. She died in the car accident and the locket that she gave her was buried with her. In the same dress was her favorite dagger." "I'm sorry, I should have made you a mess. I should have remembered you. I should have." The man cried like a child. He cried and cried. The taxi driver was pale, stunned by the impression he had lived with a woman. That explaining everything. Returning from his sport, he told Alicia's father, "Sir, I saw her, I talked and lived with her. She told me that she loved him, that she loved him very much, and that he should not forget her again. I think that hurt him, Kate." It said that Alicia's father rewarded the taxi driver for the noble history of taking his decayed daughter to beside the 7 churches and expressing the message he gave him be his daughter, who on those dates was on more than anniversary of her death.